I want to talk to you because you and I did a video with you.
Yeah.
Also like 4 or 5 years ago. A testimonial case of you using one of the products that you talk about here, like the personal tool by 23, a company that makes both a webinar software, a personal platform, and so on. And I remember that we talked about there that you were actually right there. You were behind the scenes. We talked about it. You were on a journey to get more and more of your colleagues like to understand you gotta use videos, guys. Like you free up so much time. How was it? Take me through that journey of like getting people and your colleagues hooked on video.
Yeah. It's an interesting one because I think I still fail today at that, right? Video to me was a goldmine, so I wanted to share it with all my colleagues so they could, get the same value out of video that I was getting. But I think there's a bit of a mental thing here that like a mental hurdle before you start making videos. And I was lucky enough to be pushed by my manager back then. I was a junior customer success manager, and she kind of pushed me into it slowly but surely. And I think there's probably some, natural also skills or instincts or personalities also that made me maybe more prone than one of my colleagues to fall into the video world, right? But ultimately, I think once you get over that, like awkward hearing your voice, like that's I think that hearing your voice and seeing yourself on video is a very awkward and unnatural moment, really.
Yeah.
And it's important to work that away so that you can start creating the same quality video any of us here would do, right?
Yeah.
But that mental hurdle is something I'm still struggling teaching or telling people to get over.
For sure.
There's a lot of people within the video world that is urging people to just work with it, like try it. I mean, for me, I would say do all your Slack messages as video messages to begin with. Just like instead of sending a short Slack message to your colleague or Teams message, send them a short snippet. You can send videos in Slack now. Click on it. Say it out loud and rewatch it if you want to. It's never going to be perfect, right?
No.
But just that little thing will help you get used to hearing your voice and
For sure.
and looking at yourself.
For sure. So your best advice would be get started. Just do it.
Yes, most likely that's a good advice. But there's also a lot of tips and tricks again here on just how to make videos more nicer looking and that sound nicer.
And do you have those? Like, feel free, fire away.
Yeah, of course. No, but it's, for example, you need to put the camera a little bit over your eyes, so you don't look into your nose.
The double chin shot,
double chin and nose, right? So you naturally just look a little bit nicer from there. There's a lot about the lighting. We can see in this setting, right? We have a lot of lights to make us look good, and it's important to not put yourself, for example, in front of a window where there's light coming in from the back, and then you're all dark. And there's also a lot of relatively cheap tools out there, so microphones and lights. So a lot of gamers that are streaming will have a light to make them look nicer on camera. So all these things also make it more enjoyable for me to be on camera, to do my videos, and to feel like I'm doing something that looks nice, right? So that helped me as well develop, and I just add more and more tools on top, and maybe one day I'll take the step and invest in a nice camera, and I have a really nice webcam, but if I want to take it one step further for my videos, I might up that budget a bit as well.
For sure. But I think it's also a matter of like people sometimes, just like you said, sometimes people underestimate like how much you can do with very little. Like even the webcam in your, let's say you don't want to spend a penny. Just start out on your laptop. Everyone pretty much is working from a laptop. Just you know, by switching from here and then just like, I have a big window here. Why not use that as a softbox, right? It's a overcast day. Start there, experiment with it to begin with, and then you start seeing, okay, every time I face the window, I look better. Okay, if I get an eye level, it looks better. And take me through, because I remember we talked about that. Some of the little things that were attached to your screen at your Pleo disc were somewhat simple, but that was a tiny bit step up. Can you take us through your setup, how that looked?
Yeah, definitely. So I had one of these Logitech webcams, 920, I believe. It's a cheap webcam, right? Yeah. And your work will most likely be willing to pay for it if you're going to use it, right? So Pleo bought me that, and then I also ordered a light. Actually, no, that was a colleague had a light. One of the videographers of Pleo had a light that I was able to borrow every time I would make my videos. In the end, I just hijacked it because it was on my table all the time because I needed it all the time. Yeah. But those two things, along with a good headset for the microphone, were enough for me to do not high production and high quality videos, right? No. But to have the level where I feel like, okay, this is actually a nice way of conveying my message to those clients, right? Yeah. And it looked relatively professional, but I remember as well. That's a funny story that I had. I hijacked as well the nicest spot in the office with a nice background with a little flower or whatever. But then the CTO, Niccolo, and the whole engineering team took over our floor. So then I ended up on the top floor with the printer on the back. Oh. And then there came some nice videos where people were printing on the back and they would feature on my customer videos. Yeah. But I missed that nice background I had. It was good lighting and stuff. So... But you can try around, and I do it at home now as well. My colleagues sometimes might think I'm crazy because I walk around the house trying to find a good
find a good spot.
I mean, if you can look better just by switching around a little bit the cam, everybody would do it, right?
For sure.
So there's a lot of small tips and tricks like that, and I mean the budget I had in Pleo was maybe around 1,000 crowns or something. Yeah. And you can argue that 1,000 crowns in a business setting is next to nothing, right? Compared to the computer, which cost 15 times that, or my salary, which cost a lot as well. So, in the big world of things, that investment for Pleo probably was very quickly
that was like a grain of sand.
Yeah.